Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about one of the most disturbing family betrayal cases in American history. A case where a man appeared calm, loving, and innocent, while his pregnant wife vanished without a trace. This is the story of Scott Peterson. On December 24, 2002, Laci Peterson was 8 months pregnant. She lived in Modesto, California, with her husband, Scott. Friends described Laci as warm, optimistic, and excited to become a mother. She'd already chosen a name for her unborn son, Connor. That morning, Scott said he and Laci had breakfast together. He claimed she planned to clean the house and walk the dog. Scott told police he left the house late in the morning to go fishing, alone. When he returned later that day, the house was quiet. Laci was gone. At first, Scott said he thought nothing of it, but as hours passed and Laci failed to appear for Christmas Eve plans, concern turned into fear. By nightfall, police were notified. Scott Peterson appeared cooperative, calm, controlled. He repeated the same story again and again. He went fishing. He came home. Laci had vanished. At the beginning, investigators treated Scott as a worried husband, but something about his demeanor stood out. While Laci's family was panicking, crying, and organizing searches, Scott remained composed, almost detached. As the search expanded, media attention exploded. Volunteers searched neighborhoods, parks, and nearby bodies of water. Laci's face appeared on national news. Scott continued giving interviews, standing calmly in front of cameras, appearing confident that everything would be fine. Then investigators uncovered something that changed everything. Scott Peterson was having an affair. He had been secretly seeing a woman named Amber Frey. Amber believed Scott was a widower. Weeks before Laci disappeared, Scott told Amber something chilling. He said this would be his first Christmas without his wife. At the time, Laci was still alive. When Amber learned Laci was missing, she went straight to police. Her phone calls with Scott were recorded. In those recordings, Scott continued to lie. He pretended to be in Paris. He spoke casually while his wife was missing. To investigators, this wasn't just an affair. It was motive. As police examined Scott's alibi, inconsistencies appeared. Scott claimed he went fishing at the Berkeley Marina, a long drive on Christmas Eve, a strange choice for a man whose pregnant wife was home alone. Receipts and witness statements placed Scott near the marina that day. Then came another discovery. In Scott's warehouse, investigators found evidence that he had made homemade anchors. Scott claimed he had only made one, but experts believed multiple anchors had been created. Only one was ever recovered. The others were missing. As the days passed, Scott's behavior grew more suspicious. Instead of participating in searches, he was seen smiling, relaxed, making phone calls to Amber. He dyed his hair, carried large amounts of cash, and was found with camping gear, knives, and survival supplies in his vehicle. To police, it looked like preparation, not grief. In April 2003, nearly 4 months after Laci vanished, human remains were discovered along the shore of the San Francisco Bay. First, the body of a fetus. Soon after, the remains of Laci Peterson. The location was horrifying. It was only miles from where Scott claimed he had gone fishing. The case shifted instantly. Scott Peterson was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife and unborn son. At trial, prosecutors laid out a chilling narrative. They argued Scott wanted freedom, a new life without responsibility. without marriage, without a child. They presented the affair, the lies, the anchors, the suspicious behavior. The defense argued there was no direct evidence, no murder weapon, no eyewitness. But prosecutors emphasized something else: patterns, timing, and intent. In 2004, after months of testimony, the jury reached a verdict. Scott Peterson was found guilty of first-degree murder for Laci and second-degree murder for Connor. He was sentenced to death. Years later, Scott's death sentence would be overturned due to jury issues, but his conviction remains. Scott Peterson still maintains his innocence. Supporters claim he was framed, that the evidence was circumstantial, that media pressure influenced the outcome. But for many, the story has always been clear: a husband who wanted a different life and made a choice that destroyed everything. Follow Midnight Truth for real stories of betrayal, lies, and the families destroyed by them.